At least 3 or 4 times?
Maybe 5, I don't know. But
seemed unnatural, didn't it?
yeah, it just seemed like it just died, and when getting you, the red dot leave.
Anytime you pointed it at me?
Every time I just went like this, it just died.
Okay, I'm going to give you a chance to record me now. If the camera cuts off, everyone's my witness what happens. Here we go, Tom.
Go for it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to William the Bastard Reveals. I'm here to tell you about remote telepathic computer technology and RFID tattoos and transceivers that can be put into you through needle injection or otherwise, and bio-trackers that are in everyone's food, that once you are linked up to a network, you can be GPS tracked anywhere, and there begins your remote neural monitoring, whether you know it or not. We're here to blow the top secret information out. We got it from the horse's mouth through a reverse counter spy that I was involved in to get the real information out to other TIs that we have won. Welcome to William the Bastard Reveals. Being a targeted individual, which is this right here. This represents us. Okay? And over here are other targets. Now, they will rotate people's involvement in different circles and stalks. A brain card dialing number is required to dial in to get the voice to skull frequency and for the remote neural monitoring. I do not understand what brain cards are exactly. Please look them up. Now, there's blackmail that recruits people in these stalks. There's also common gain stalkers, which represent these people over here in these circles. Vigilante civilians who have been misled, who get duped and recruited through deceitful tactics, blackmail, or cash pay. You got petty criminal sickos that are in thrill kill cults and other things like that. Also, voyeuristic operations, bottom feeders, who will carry out the perpetration of the crimes. This is all done by hacking into Wi-Fi systems, Echelon, HARP, and other systems of communication, which state and local law enforcements and politicians can access. These codes get hacked into by these other groups, going all the way up to insurance agencies, road police agents, medical science, with universities, private security, civilian spy, criminal voyeur groups, detective agencies that represent these guys here. Okay, up here you got the mafia and cartels. Now you must understand that none of these groups necessarily, now some of them do, but not all of these groups actually are aware of what is going on with the targeting the other group is doing to the target, so it may make them appear suspicious. Okay, there's certain bands and waves that can be hacked into under the radar of the FCC communication system. Like I said, this can go back to the mafia and the cartels, and also involved in these stalks are religious groups that are real advocates for their religion, occult groups and cults that have ties with these other organizations. And basically what happens is somebody down here below, like somebody you've offended has reported you all the way up to this, the Homeland Security Office. Okay, now over here, you got secret enforcers, you got the TSA, you got them working directly with local and state law enforcement down here in the red, and they're all accessing these satellites. Why do these government agencies and police not mess with these people? Because they could be exposed themselves if they opened up the scandal that these networks were being hacked into and infiltrated, because the government's not supposed to be spying on civilians to this extent in the first place. There could be secret governments involved here, which is where that question mark is. Secret governments, foreign powers, and basically it all goes up to the branches of the federal government, which are run by the banks and the corporate circles right up here at the top. This is the very upper echelon of everything, the big shots, secret circles, so-called Illuminati or Illuminati-like groups, Skull and Bones, which have ties and contracts with the Defense Department through defense contractors, gasoline, oil companies, which, of course, the Defense Department is the direct controller of the military intelligence, CIA, the NSA, all these guys over here. And over here you have Secret Service, FBI, and the U.S. Marshals. Now, what happens is that various undercurrents and underbodies, kind of shadow alliances are happening up here at the high ends, which deliver commands down to low ends. Most of the time, these shadow alliances don't give direct targeting to the game stalks to target an individual, but sometimes they do. And the reason why is they could be reported from the bottom up, or somebody can see them from the top down and say, hey, this guy right here, dangerous. This person right here, this lady right here, potentially dangerous. And then they basically have an alert level system as to what extent your stalk is carried out. However, down here it's less organized in these lower groups, and like I said, most of these people don't know what one hand's doing to the other. There's a moderator which logs a GPS target online and pretty much controls their minds from there. Alright, let's look at how the process of tortures via remote and remote neural monitoring are achieved, and how these things get started. Now, I want to let everybody know all of my camera equipment has been repeatedly zapped. I've been under heavy-duty frequency attacks days ago that delayed me making this film. I learned something that was able to save me from receiving those attacks and the effects of them. I don't want to go through how I exactly did it just yet, but I want to share this with you and let you know how broad a Ponzi scheme the whole targeted individual thing really is, and how we as targets are the subjects, the victims, absolute victims of a terrible, terrible plot of several circles that interchange, have awareness or unawareness of one another, and basically go over a few things. Now, how do they do this in the first place? How is it that people catch voice to skull frequency seemingly in their homes or anywhere? Well, truth be known, this is how it works. Let's go step by step. Okay, years ago, back in 2006 and 2007, a program was launched called eye tracking, or kinetic eye tracking. Basically, when you log onto websites, it allows website owners
to know exactly what ads and what items you're focusing on. What's going to sell better? What type of things are going to sell better? What certain products are going to fly? And it saves them a lot of time with people, hiring people to estimate the markets when they basically can see what people's eyeballs fall at on their computer screens. And it lets them know. Now, over time, as phone apps and other technologies develop, they can merge those technologies into this type of program. And it allowed us to absolutely be victimized through hypnosis, remote hypnosis. Now, how's that done? Well, there's several different spybot programs. There's spybot programs that basically get rid of viruses, and then there's spybot programs that are launched through these eye trackers because they get a retinal scan through the eye tracking now. You can get retinal scans through the launching of plasmic photons in your computer screen. Now, I may be wording that wrong, and I admit I don't know everything, but I have found out a lot, targets. And I seriously believe, I wouldn't tell you this if I did not believe this is the exact manner and way that this is done. Okay, once that spybot is launched into your eye, your retinal scan, the plasmic membranes will merge with human membranes, kind of pseudo-mimicking them, becoming your own. At that point, they can flash an image into your visual cortex. Boom, they're in your brain. This is called what they call superimpose. Superimpose visuals and make you see things in your mind that are not your own. Many people are unaware that this is being done to them. Once that flash of a visual cortex of an image is in your brain, then they can infiltrate the neural pathways all the way down, basically get a kinetic signature of your entire body, which they call the kinetic map. Once you are kinetically mapped, it gets worse. They pretty much control your whole entire neurological system of your body. They can then at that point apply impulse signals in time with superimposing to basically affect your behavior. Now, an impulse signal, once you're kinetically mapped, it's pretty hard to resist. But through local harassment, speakers, microphones, illegal surveillance, and other things, as well as old school psych outs and noise campaigns being used against you, you can be put into a total state of subduction, as they call it, and they will override your immediate conscious thinking, even matching their voices to your own to make you think it is you doing the thinking. Yes, this sounds far out, but I promise you this is the way it's being done, and many people are under the spell of this and don't realize it. So what kind of impulse signals would they send somebody? Basically, fear impulse signals, tweaking their suspicious thinking, nervousness, guilt. They can send a humor impulse. They can send a sleep impulse to make you drowsy. They can do sleep interrogation of the subconscious, gaining access to your memory banks and manipulating those memories to make your memories match what they want you to believe. They can do all forms of manipulation through the right and left brain shifting. They also do kinetic frequency at that point. Going back and forth, right and left ear, They open up all frequency bands available, turning some up louder than others, or using high-end and low-end frequencies that are audible, and most of the real low-end and high-end stuff is unaudible to humans, subliminally implanting stuff in your brain as if they didn't have enough power through the kinetic mapping already. Basically, this is all done through kinetic mapping. Once your neurological pathways are pretty much mapped, they give you what some call a brain card or a mind number, and people just dial you up and deliver it, and they do it in sequence. Several arms of the stalk don't even know what the other arm's doing, and so through illegal surveillance and other audio microphone speakers and whatnot that they planted in your home, possibly when you were away, they are able to completely manipulate that person. In effect, over time, through subliminal suggestives and hypnosis sent through plasmic signal, through anything TV, especially internet, they completely subject a person, put them in a state of subjection. And that is how we are targeted. They can do several bands of frequency that bounce off the inside of the skull. Everything becomes more effective through kinetic mapping, and usually kinetic mapping is for far more high-profile targets. Now, it's not that other people aren't kinetically mapped, they just aren't attacked. Once we start noticing these things, that's when they zero in on us a lot more. And this can be done from high to low on the scale that I've showed you, that I will show you, how gang stalks work. Okay, this is done through a variety of ways. Most people, through mandates and legislation, through the Food and Drug Administration, and state and local and federal government, have isolated the food we consume to be certain types of products and certain processes to those products. In those products are certain chemicals, hormones, and other things, biological agents, which give us bio-trackers already in our system. That means that when a spy bot is launched, they can launch to the pathways nearly and find those bio-trackers to continually monitor you while you consume the food and drugs that Americans and other people, citizens of the world, do every day. Then they can send out ghost apps, hallucinatory effects to the visual cortex if you're under the influence of drugs, giving you a hallucinogenic effect even though you're not on a hallucinogenic drug. They can take antipsychotics and actually make them into psychotics through a combination of biochemistry and bio-trackers, where people have hacked into satellites. They have this access, and it's not always the big shots. Sometimes it goes all the way down to the bottom feeders, mini mafias, not necessarily even the big ones, or voyeur sex cults, or sick cults that want to use satanic trappings to propagate evil, since people identify that with evil. Once you are kinetically mapped, they can send you heart impulses, kinetic heart impulse to slow the heart rate or increase it, even give you a heart attack impulse. If they do a technique known as blow out your brains, they can possibly induce you into a stroke. This is in effect remote murder, and it has been done to several targets. There's transceivers and receivers, RFID technology, which can do this without the bio-trackers, but this will be falling out of favor with game stalkers and people who target others because the bio-tracking method, if they can hack into that system, that's so much better, and they don't have to, you know, hypnose or drug the victim or put them under anesthesia to implant them with a transceiver device. Then, you know, of course, once the spy bot is in your eye and it's flashed, they can hypnosis you via electric light and plasma pulse, also laser pulse weapons and pulse guns, and have everybody card into a microwave gun in their network, and then send you frequency voice to skull via the microwaves, which are heavily damaging. There's all sorts of impulses, like I said. There's hunger impulse, lavatory impulse, sexual impulses, which they can shoot you and cause you to masturbate or possibly copulate with your wife, and then they can actually get that on film through illegal surveillance and entice the whole situation all along, most victims never knowing of it. It's sad, but this is really happening, and I just want to get their methodology out, because I really believe this is how it is. A lot of the fake outs we experience is voice to skull of other people's voices in our heads. We're almost certain we hear them, and it's got to be that person, but guess what, folks? It's not necessarily so. Look at voice apps for iPhones and other devices online. They can even be put into your PC, your home computer, and they can do noise fake outs to make you totally believe it's someone it's not. Even someone very close to you who has nothing to do with it. That way you accuse them, and it's easier to get you mentally declared mentally unfit. Okay, it's not that always people close by to you aren't involved in the stalk, because they very well could be. There's just as much chance, so it's good to keep an open mind until we get that hard, localized evidence, and or, you know, to be able to discredit your harassers. Another way they can throw you into hypnosis is through subliminal frequency on different bands, which you cannot hear, through word repetition and song repeats. If they say, hey, you like pizza, but you really hate pizza, okay? Say, this is just an example. Now imagine what all could be done with it. You know, they could say, you like pizza, you like pizza, you like pizza, you like pizza. However, your consciousness is not picking that up like regular voice to skull. That's only done subliminally. So over and over again, subliminally, it sinks in. All of a sudden, you like pizza. Song repetition. You get songs going through your head, and they repeat just certain parts of the song. How to tell the difference? Are you controlling that song? Are you playing it in your head? Or is it going automatically? And is it playing the whole entire song? Or just certain sections, or even one section of that song over and over again? This is a form of hypnosis and dazing out, and then allowing them to further analyze your brain without most people knowing it. If they have decided you need to be eliminated, or you're up for torture, or they want to stigmatize you in some sort of fashion that would demonize you to others, they simply start implanting negative talk, even curses, into your head. And at that point, when you get those, you may not be knowing it, but your subconscious is being cursed. And yeah, imagine that, electronic witchcraft. Go figure. All these things in combination can make a target appear very paranoid. And with the energy weapons being sent via local delivery of microwave guns, laser pulse guns, and satellite, if you get the really crafty hackers to be able to hack into that technology. All of this is worked in coincidence with one another, and different arms of the stalk that are unaware that the target is being affected by another arm of the stalk, and it further confirms their behavior is strange, and gives them a little bit more solidification and confidence that they're doing the right thing by targeting you. There's moderators will only share partial info to the participators of the stalks. This is terrible, and I just wanted to expose it. I found a way to beat this. I don't think other people are going to find the same way I did to beat it. These are done really a lot of times for purposes such as insurance scams or having people institutionalized so they can collect on their Social Security claims, inducing a target's impulsive behavior to make them seem psychotic. And this is achieved through a very interesting method. Double backing and piggybacking the frequencies which are being sent into your ears. You know how, I've already told you. And basically, while everyone else in the room may be hearing, "Oh, John, you're such a nice man," on the television, you may be hearing, "We're going to take off, use a knife and remove your left hand," or something to that effect. They can actually manipulate you in that fashion, and then through hypnosis, you're just constantly faked out. They want to catch you in the middle of conversations with important people in your life, such as your bosses or family members, and misdirect what people say to the targets, making them seem accusatory toward other people, while in turn playing with those with the neural systems of others around you, which they may have tracked vaguely, maybe not as well as your own, but still with subliminal frequency. They might be able to bounce off you and feed them a little and target them, and then make them through their subconscious mind think illy of you, because what's in the subconscious eventually merges into consciousness. A lot of times ham radios are used. Ham radios, different radio equipment that are logged in, and then other people in the network can gain access to the frequencies and manipulate you further, inducing confusion and faking out, inducing states of paranoia to fake out targets, deafening a target to make them seem disconnected from conversations so they miss parts and seem out of touch with others around them, purposely turning up frequency to divert your attention at certain times, and also purposely to direct your attention away from the conversations, causing problems at work and home. They play identity games, as I've stated, pretending to be various people through the V2K that you can audibly hear. I've heard of some targets say they've made claims through voice to skull that they were going to be replaced by doubles. And I'm not sure what they mean by that. They could mean the full possession of someone's mind, or they could mean the actual removal of someone's body, and I don't know if they'd go to that trouble. It seems a lot easier to do it this way. You know, if you don't know any differences between you and that person, okay, you're going to think that that person's behavior is all their own when it's not. They sneak in frequency volume to achieve desired algorithmic spiking on their equipment, kind of like a lie detector thing. And through subliminal stuff, they can convince you you're a bank robber, and then they can turn up a frequency V2K and be like, "Hey, bank robber!" And then all of a sudden you kind of get scared, paranoid. Where'd that come from? And then you spike guilty or nervous to that, but they don't let the people know doing it that they've actually turned that up or are feeding you frequency while you're doing that. They like matching the sounds of other people's thoughts to make them sound like your own, placing camera mics in all matching the sound of other people's voices is a common thing to make their thoughts sound like their own, which means when you're under this type of attempts at subduction of your own mind, they will match thoughts to sound as your own. Basically, you'll think it's you thinking and it's not. They try to sync up to that. In concordance, they'll place cameras, mics, and audio speakers on heat signature activated systems, which kick on that surveillance. Also taking photos, then editing and falsifying evidence in order to incriminate a target. And this also induces a target's speech through remote neural monitoring and other tactics, subliminal frequency, B2K, hypnosis. They can mislead them, may give them misleading information, presenting fictional evidence of them bad-mouthing a person in order to anger them at the target, and also pull those people into recruitment to join the stalk. When a target is pegged for long-term institutionalization for being mentally deficient, all arms of a gang stalk from top to bottom may benefit. The scumbags will make their money by hand-me-down cash or getting themselves out of trouble with the law if they got somebody inside the law pulling strings for them. They'll benefit. Basically, they could be blackmailed into it, and the person will promise they'll keep their secrets quiet if they get in on the stalk of another person, ensuring they won't go back to prison or whatnot. Sometimes this is how stalkers are recruited. That's why pros and professionals in the medical industry refuse to investigate a target's claims, because they stand to lose extremely large insurance payouts from the state or health insurance companies, often teaming up with local human services or prosecutors if the target has won cases in court or is considered having radical viewpoints. A lot of this is organized crime and cartels. Cartels not only from the United States, but from Mexico and other places, working with rogue police agents and even local law enforcement, state law enforcement, whatever have you, and members interchanging information to them, friends, whatnot, leaking stuff out to private citizens from private citizen groups such as InfraGard and other security companies. This allows them to all hack into the same systems and makes it much more confusing to identify the perpetrators of the target, whether that's government, whether that is NSA, whether it's CIA, etc., or all the way down to just petty voyeur criminals that want to get and break inside your home to take pictures of basically they families and your private activities, your life. With continued attacks and accusations on targets, placing stuff in your head through subliminal frequency and other means, making false claims and deforming your character in public, allows more people to turn against that target. And your behavior being strange will also further incriminate your friends and even your family members against you. In concurrence, they can piggyback off the signal they're sending you and send them subliminal to even manipulate those around you to look at you incriminatingly. Yeah, it's possible, believe it or not. I'm not going to tell you exactly how all I obtained this information, but I'm going to tell you I'm dead serious. All this is true. To the absolute best of my knowledge, I would not mislead other targets. I really hope this information helps you. I believe this is the way this is really being done. Everything that I'm saying here in this video. The target knows that people lie. Therefore, the target will seem sociopathic to the remote neural monitors who want to get this thing legislated into actual acceptance as a lie detector test. And when you seem sociopathic, you rarely spike guilty on algorithmic equipment, basically, spiking through remote EEG. And of course, the kinetic maps allow control of even the heart, mind, and cause strokes, heart attacks, aneurysms, and symptoms of psychosis. This is all achieved in concert with one another to really break down high-profile targets. Now, this isn't done to every targeted individual to this extreme, but this is done for people that are targeted for elimination, whether that be elimination to the point of death or elimination to the point of getting you permanently institutionalized. If they can pull people's family members and recruit them into the stalk, they'll guarantee them benefits by promising, if they are institutionalized, that the other family members will benefit because they'll get, money from the government, Social Security, whatnot, kickback from them being inside the mental hospital, as they would be their power of attorney. Okay. A lot of times, like I said, this is not like big-time people targeting you so much as it could be, corporations that you've offended, companies you've offended or whistleblowed on. As I've stated in the past, there's a variety of things that can definitely get you targeted. And as time has went on, gang stalks back in the day were not able to be this mentally intense against a target. It took a while for technology to get here, but believe me, it's being done. People are hacking the networks. You can piss medical professionals off. Maybe a doctor's offended you. You got let me back with them, and they could just go ahead and red flag you and open up their access to monitoring and neural equipment, and red flag you to somebody they know in Everguard or Homeland Security or the TSA. Okay. Guys, I hope this helps. This is William the Bastard Reveals. And I want you to know that this is something we have to constantly fight against mentally. Really analyze everything in your life to know yourself better. That is my advice to not only targeted individuals like myself, but to everyone in the world, as we don't know how far these programs run, who all is under the spell. Maybe corporations have put these standards in place to keep our focus diverted from real issues, not just via the TV and the old 1970 stories about how they were sending subliminal messages through broadcast radio and TV. No, this goes way deeper than that. This is signaling power, and it actually can be done via satellite. If you can tap into a cellular network or hack into it, you got control of the communications of that entire network, whether that is iPhones, whatever have you, Android. This is not impossible, and it really is happening. And I really want you to know my heart goes out to other targets. It took a long time for me to get here and realize that I was no longer subject to the weapons that have been used on me throughout my stalking. That those days are a thing of the past unless they somehow regroup against me, and I really don't see that happening. Maybe one day, don't forget, the remote neural monitoring counter psych is coming up on May 1st at 7 p.m. Everybody, including non-targets, are encouraged to participate. This is for people that are kinetically mapped with voice to skull and other things otherwise. Absolutely understand this is a mental effort. It's a visual exercise. I'll share the video and the advertisement also with this post. Thank you very much, everybody.